I have great news, Bengals fans. Wide receiver Tee Higgins, well, he's going to be just fine. Hi again, everyone. I'm James Rapine with AllBengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk, and I get it. You were on edge. A lot of people were on edge when Tee Higgins randomly popped up on Wednesday's injury report. He was limited with a foot issue, and a lot of people were like, man, did he injure that in practice? Is that why he was limited? How serious is it? I just got off a conference call with Zach Taylor, and I have the quote here, but I will say Zach was almost, because it was such a non-thought to him, I think he was caught off guard almost by the question where he's like, oh, yeah, T's fine. And so he said yes when asked if he expects Tee Higgins to play, and then I have the full quote here. He said he took the reps Wednesday. Maybe he took one or two less reps than normal, Taylor said. So everything's good to go. It sounds like that Higgins was just getting some treatment done, and that's why he was technically limited. That's fine. 22-year-old, get that boy some treatment, get him ready to go, because he needs to make some plays out there, right? I mean, that's what we're thinking ahead of Saturday's matchup, and he's such a big part of this Bengals offense, right? 74 receptions, 1,091 yards, 6 touchdowns in 14 games. You wanted to have him out there, and those that listen to the Locked On Bengals podcast, well, you had an idea that he was going to be just fine. But I'm glad that Zach Taylor confirmed what I reported on there. Didn't have time to do the video here because, well, we had flooded your timeline, flooded your feed with a couple of videos already. But we are stacked. We're packed. We're going to have a couple videos essentially every day for the rest of the week going into Saturday, and then Saturday as well with our post game. So there's that. Outside of that, I would expect Trent Taylor to get elevated from the practice squad, maybe Mike Daniels to get elevated from the practice squad. So stay tuned for that for Saturday's game. And there's unlimited elevations. So in the regular season, it was 2 elevations, and then you had to be activated to the 53-man roster to play in a game from the practice squad, or you couldn't play. Well, it's not 2 elevations per player now. That's it. It is a limited amount. So Trent Taylor can stay on the practice squad, Mike Daniels stay on the practice squad, and still get elevated. Essentially, the Bengals have a 55, not a 53-man roster, if they choose to have one. All right, so there's one more thing, and this is something I want you to hear, and I wrote about this at allbengals.com, and I know I'm throwing Locked On Bengals and All Bengals at you. I wanted to make sure our Cincinnati Bengals Talk viewers saw this, heard this, felt this, because playoff drought, all that stuff, right? Carson, Palmer, Andy, Dalton. Darrin Simmons has been here for all of that. He's been the Bengals special teams coordinator for the Carson era, for the Andy era, and now for the Joe Burrow era. And so I asked him about that, and I just loved his answer. We talked to him on Wednesday. Here's what Darrin Simmons had to say about Joey B. I know you're going to love this.
Darren, you were here for a young Carson, here for a young Andy, and obviously saw what they did. What has stood out to you about Joe Burrow, and has anything surprised you?
No, and nothing surprised me, honestly. I remember sitting in his combine interview when we did that a couple years ago, and there was no question in my mind that it was the single best combine interview I'd ever sat in on. I mean, the recall and the competitiveness that he showed in that 15-minute meeting was off the charts. We looked at video plays, just throughout the course of the season. He had no background as to what plays they were, but he could tell you exactly what portion of the game it was, exactly what situation in the game it was. Hey, this is in the third quarter. I think we're, down by 3. I think this is a third down play. Here's what's going to happen. And his recall was incredible. And not to say that those other 2 guys, Carson and Andy, couldn't, but this guy's just a little different. Joe doesn't say much. Not that Carson was not a real vocal guy either. And Andy really wasn't either, quite honestly. But this guy, it's just whatever it is, he has it, and you feel it in the room, and you feel it when he was out there on the field. He just has a quiet confidence because he's been there, he's done that, he's proven all this before. He did it at LSU. And there's no doubt in my mind he'll do it again. He'll do it again in his NFL career here too. But there's a very different feel with him out there. I'm damn glad he's on our team.
He's just different. He's just different. Doesn't shock me one bit to hear that, right? And that's not a knock on Carson Palmer, who I thought had a chance to be a great quarterback and was a good quarterback. That's not a knock on Andy Dalton, who no doubt was a good quarterback. But it feels different with Joe Burrow, doesn't it? And that's what's so damn exciting about a potential playoff run starting on Saturday against the Raiders. I'm going to have more on Saturday's game on Thursday afternoon. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you ring the bell so you get alerts, because we're coming at you with exclusive interviews. If you missed Lindsey Patterson's interview with Peter King, you have to check it out. If you missed Elise Jesse's interview with Tyler Boyd one-on-one last week, you have to check it out. And make sure you check out, speaking of checking out, Rivertown Inquiry and rivertowninquiry.com to get plenty of swag, Bengals swag. Also, I will see you Friday night, Holy Grail on Joe Nuxall Way, downtown Cincinnati, starting at 7, official meet and greet. We're going to have plenty of Bengals swag to give away and so much more. So I really appreciate all of you for subscribing, for watching. Another video coming later this afternoon. This was just a quick update on Higgins, plus had to let you know what Darrin Simmons said about Joey B. So for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now, right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.